Hello and welcome to the Dustin Eric Podcast Show, brought to you by Mimosa Networks. Hi, I'm Dustin.
And I'm Eric.
Today we're on episode number 39. Today we'll be covering brand new products we've just announced today. The Mimosa A6 and the C6x, our first two products with the AX chipset that I know that you guys have been waiting so ever patiently for the past however many years you've been waiting on them.
Years.
So sitting here behind me, you have the A6. You can see kind of how big it is. I have a broken arm here, so it's kind of hard for me to do a whole lot. So it's not super huge.
I've got this data here. It's 19 inches high and about 11 and a half wide, maybe 3-inch depth. I don't want to hurt your arm. I know you hurt your arm, so
It'll be okay.
Okay.
And we also have the C6x here, which looks really similar to this B5x, which we showed in the last podcast. So here they are.
Those are nice.
Side by side. So the B5x was announced just a couple of weeks ago. And now we've got these two new products that are around the corner as well. So Eric, tell us about the A6. What do you want to tell people about the A6?
So the A6 will use the 8x8 design. It also has the range all the way up to 6425. So 6425 megahertz. 90-degree pattern. Like we mentioned, it's relatively small in that form factor. So 19 by 11 and a half, 3 inches, about 8.5 pounds. We've got ether. We've got a DC port for separate DC, about 56 volts DC.
And
two SFPs?
Two SFP plus ports.
Awesome.
Just for clarification, Eric mentioned a 90-degree beam pattern. This is an integrated antenna. It's not connectorized, unfortunately, but maybe on down the road we'll have connectorized versions as well for those that want to use, different antennas connected to this, like horns or other things. Eric, did you mention 7 gigs aggregate for capacity?
I did not. I did not mention 7 gigs aggregate. There's a couple of new things on board.
Right. It can potentially handle over 200 clients per access point. That's a significant increase over the A5C, A5X, which in SRS mode only handles, 44 clients.
You're right. Also, new to the drawing board, 1 or 2 by. So we still keep the 1 or 2 by 20, 40, and 80 channels. In addition, we get the 160 meg bandwidth, channel bandwidth.
So you could have potentially up to 320 megabit width channel.
Wow. Now that's quite a wide chunk of spectrum when you're moving above into above Uni 4 into the 5 area. So wow.
Trying to utilize as much of that underutilized band that you can, give your customers huge speeds.
I like the fact that we have 160 meg width channel finally, and a 2 by on an A5 or an A6 product. That's fantastic. Wow.
So I think people are going to go, holy crap, 320 megahertz of spectrum. How the heck are we supposed to deal with interference? Well, with the new AX chip, Quantenna has some really cool noise fighting beamforming technology that I'm really excited for people to be able to see, up close, see it, perform super well, even with crowded spectrum. So, that's something to really look forward to. You also have low latency OFDMA too. So that should help with throughput as well.
It looks at 2 megahertz. So if you're at a 20 meg channel or a 160 meg, it's looking at just 2 megahertz little slices within that channel bandwidth to really go after and squash noise and things, and maybe notch bits of junk out of that part of the spectrum. So it's looking at specifically targeting little pieces of within a channel bandwidth. That's kind of neat.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a real big game changer. I'm really excited to get these out in the beta and then GA release so people can start using them out in the wild. It's really going to really change people, their deployment strategies, I believe. So the next question people are probably going to have is, when are these radios going to be available for me? And as I'm sure most, if not everyone who watches these videos are aware, there's, COVID has really, really crippled the chip set market. And so with all the chip shortages, it's really delayed these products. I know we've been talking about them, or some people have known about them for a bit, but it's really slowed things down. So we're looking at, sometime next year, hopefully, Q1, Q2, but please don't hold me to those estimates, because you never know. It might come sooner, but I would expect at least Q1, Q2 of 2022 before you might see these products. But never know with COVID shortages like they are. Hopefully things will get better, but it's hard to say.
We've got a lot of products down outside of Los Angeles and the harbors down there, and there's a lot of big backlog for everyone into North America. Huh?
Yeah, there's tons and tons of ships down, in, the LA area waiting to dock and offload their stuff. So that doesn't help either, having supply chain being delayed by that as well. So it's just a lot of stuff happening all at one time. That's really crippling. And I know it's not just crippling, our creation of these products, but other people are being affected as well. So it's definitely not just us. So I think that most, if not everybody's kind of aware of these things. The next thing, radio, of course, is the C6x. It's a client radio. So it's very similar to the C5x and the B5x, which I showed earlier. It's the modular radio where you can screw on antennas. So, of course, it's 8 dBi by itself. So it doesn't even get an antenna on it. Then it's got the 12, the 16, the 20, and 25 like you're used to. And then some other antennas that will be coming down the road for those that, will get you even further than that. I can't really give exact numbers on those or any real information on those yet, but know that we are working on, more for those radios. So just something to look forward to. Lots of stuff coming next year if, things work out the way we hope they will work out anyway.
And it'll match up nicely with that A6, because like the A6, the C6X will be able to handle that 160 meg with channels too. So that's the whole idea, right? So,
right.
Yep.
So this radio, just like its AP friend there, will be from 5.1 to the 6.4 initially. These radios can do up to 1.75 gigabit aggregate speed, which is way, way more than the client radios we have now.
Yeah.
They also utilize OFDMA, just like the AP would. IP67, as you can tell, they're solid metal.
Let's look at the bottom of that towards the camera. Let's see what they're. Show the port. Yeah.
The new glands we've swapped to, which are the universal ones you can go to the hardware store and pick up or whatever. But of course, they come with the gland as well. But if you need extras, you can always go to, Harbor Freight or Gray Bar or wherever it sells,
For the for the upcoming B5X users, as well as the C6X, and doing and going to other third party for same twist port adapters, those aren't fitting on these, right? B5X and C6X. Primarily because of the way of the design and where the heat sinks are and where the horn is located.
Yeah, I'm working with Tassos from RF Elements to. Now I've got him radios that they're looking at to see if they can come up with a solution for that. But you're right, the current twist port adapter that you have out for the C5X is not compatible with the B5X, or would be compatible for the C6X.
Yeah, right. Okay, good to know.
But is there anything else do you want to talk about on these before we conclude our show here?
That's all. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, for those of you watching the video when it just releases, we're at Wispapalooza right now. So definitely stop by our booth and check out the new products or our current line of products. I'll be at the booth. We've got other people at the booth. Feel free to stop by with any questions you have or suggestions, and we'll be more than happy to meet with you. New users or previous users, people that we know in the past, or just come on by and hang out with us, and we look forward to seeing you. So with that, I guess that's the end of our show this time. So we'll see you on our next podcast.
All right. Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe or follow button to stay up to date with our latest podcast, which will be available on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud.